Hello, welcome to episode 42 of Little Bobbins Knits. My name is Dani and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Little Bobbins. We have a Ravelry group which you can find by searching Little Bobbins Knits in the groups tab on Ravelry, and show notes for the podcast can be found at littlebobbins.co.uk. Just going to grab Bobbin. Come here then. Stop tap dancing down there. Say hi, Bobbin. I hope you've had a really lovely time since I spoke to you last. I'm not entirely sure how long it's been, but I hope you're happy and have been enjoying whatever you've been doing. So last episode I had hardly any knitting to show you. This episode I've got a lot of knitting to show you. I have worked on quite a few different things, so I'll show you all of them. And yes, I'm starting to get into that Christmas panic because I never start Christmas gifts early enough, and I do so few Christmas gifts that really I should be able to get them done in time, but I always manage to start them really late. Never mind. This episode won't have a "you can't watch this bit, mum" at the end, because the whole episode is a "you can't watch this bit, mum." So I've given mum strict instructions that she isn't allowed to watch. So hopefully she won't. Right. So let's have a look at works in progress. Which bag? In my lovely bag made by Isabel from Fluffy Fibres podcast, I've got Mum's Islington shawl. I'm knitting this in Madeleine Tosh Merino Light in the Heartbeat and Daffodil colours. And I have absolutely no... I'll probably say this with absolutely everything. I have no confidence that this will be finished in time. I have knit the 2 star sections now, which are really fun. They were really fun to knit. But now I have pretty much doubled my stitches and I'm starting the lace portion of the shawl. There are quite a lot of stitches on the needles now. I've put in loads and loads of stitch markers. I don't know if you can see those, but I've put in stitch markers at every lace repeat because I just don't have time to be ripping back. So I'm hoping that will keep me on track. If you put stitch markers between every lace repeat, it's much easier to identify when you've made a mistake because you have far fewer stitches to concentrate on. And until I've got the stitch pattern established, it might be that I can see where I've gone wrong, if I go wrong, when the lace starts growing a bit. But for now, I have a million stitch markers on there. I've also put in a lifeline, and a lifeline is where you thread a piece of yarn through your stitches, so that if you do make a mistake you can go back to that lifeline and pick up the stitches easier. Do you use lifelines? I always find that if I don't use a lifeline, if I think that I should use a lifeline and then don't use a lifeline, I always regret it. So yes, I popped one of those in. I just use a piece of hemp cord because I've got, happens to be just here, I've got a cone that's just 100% hemp yarn and it's really nice and smooth, so it's easy to pull out when you're done. So yes, I think I've got 40 rows of this lace pattern. I managed to get, I think, 3 done last night, so we'll see how that goes. This is the Islington shawl by Kirsten for. It's in the Loops 10 book that I mentioned last week. It's an absolutely fantastic book. I'm really enjoying this pattern. And I saw someone commented in the episode thread that these are Gryffindor colours. Ah, I know, how exciting is that? I just love that. So my mum is clearly a Gryffindor because she chose these colours. So yes, hoping to get that finished. I'm a little bit worried that the yarn's going to bleed. It's a common occurrence, I think, with the really, really dark saturated colours in Madeleine Tosh yarn, but I'm hoping so much that it doesn't, because I was really impatient and didn't pre-wash it. So we'll see. My next work in progress is my Gramps cardie. I'm knitting this for another gift. This is a gift that needs to be posted, so really, really needs to be finished quite soon, and again, not sure if it will be. This is the Gramps pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's a lovely little jacket, cardigan type thing. I'd really like one for me actually, in some tweedy yarn. I think that would be so cosy. But I'm knitting this one in Malabrigo Rios, and this is the Cocoa colourway, and it's really, really lovely, sort of sumptuous chocolate brown. It's a gorgeous colour. And this very helpfully had a bit of knitting done on it by Mum. If I ever have knitting projects that have got a bit of stocking stitch or garter stitch, just plain knitting, no increases or anything, then I sometimes give them to my mum to do, if I can coax her. She's really not, she just doesn't really, she doesn't knit at all now, except if I hoist a project upon her. So yeah, this is covered in fluff. And I think it is because Bobbin buried a bone in this basket yesterday, didn't you, Bobbin? So yeah, it's been a bit attacked. But yeah, so this is the back, and Mum knit a bit of the body, quite a bit of the body I think, all of that, and the rib at the bottom. I think in the pattern the rib is done in a contrasting colour, but I'm trying to conserve yarn because I only have this much of the contrasting colour left, and I want to get as much of the shawl collar done in that as I can. And I also picked up the stitches of the arm and Mum knit up to the increases, which was really handy. She was here on Saturday looking after Bobbin when David and I went to football, so I left some projects out for her to work on if she felt like it, and luckily she did. So then I did the decreases, and I keep stitch markers in there so that I know that I've done the decreases, because otherwise it's just so easy for me to think that I've done it and not have done it. And I'm just about to start the rib on that now. This project, it would be so quick if I was knitting on it more often, because the yarn is quite thick and it's only for a small child, so it should technically be quick, but because I'm just working on so many different things, it's not quick for me at all. I really would like to get it finished on time though. We'll see. So yes, that's another one of my projects. I feel like I'm racing through this. I think it's because I'm stuck in the mindset of, oh, I've got so much to do. I'm just surrounded by all these knitting projects that I need to get finished and have no idea whether I will be able to or not. This is another gift for Christmas. I'm knitting some simple house slippers by Temple of Knit. I was chatting to Molly from a homespun house the other day, and she got me all excited about knitting another pair. And then, coincidentally, David came home from work and said, oh, I really need a pair of slippers. So he's getting a pair of slippers. I'm knitting these out of Drop's Big Fable print. This is colour 906. And I really love how it's working up. I think it's really fun. We were looking for slippers for David, but they all have hard bottoms, so we don't really want hard bottoms on our floors. Shoes are now banned from the house. Yeah, very overprotective of the floor at the moment. Until it gets its first mark, I'm sure we will be. So I thought I'd knit him up a pair of these. I've knit the garter stitch bit slightly longer than I did on mine, and I've joined it in the round now. And I knit these on a Wednesday afternoon. My Auntie Jack and my mum come over and we have a little bit of knitting time. That was my clock. I don't know if you heard that. And we have a little bit of knitting time together. Yesterday was really fun because we had Bucks Fizz and mince pies, trying to get a bit festive. But yeah, so I gave Mum one of my knitting projects. I worked on this and Auntie Jack was working on a hat. And in that sort of, probably about an hour, while sort of chatting and all of that, I managed to get that much done. So I think these could get done in time. I'd really like them to be a secret, so I'll have to not knit them while David's around. And he's soon going to be off work for 2 weeks, which is so exciting. David never has time off work. And even if he does, he gets phone calls from work and things, so it's never relaxing. But his office is closed for 2 weeks over Christmas. And it's going to be so lovely. Really looking forward to that. So ideally, I need to get them finished before he's off work. Have a sip of my coffee before I go on to the next work in progress. See, there's loads, aren't there? Okay, so that was Bobbin snoring. There's all sorts of ambient noises today, aren't there? In my fantastic huge bag, oh isn't this lovely, from Holland Handmade. I did a swap with Erin from the Holland Handmade podcast and Holland Handmade Co shop on Etsy, and she's Mama to Abigail on Instagram and Ravelry, I think. She sent me this fantastic bag. I love it because I love triangles at the moment, and it's also got these little metallic details. I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but some of the triangles are metallic gold, which I love. I've put a pom-pom on there, of course. But in that huge bag is my sock yarn blanket. I'm not sure what I was doing at the time, but all of a sudden I had a harebrained idea that I would really like to get this blanket finished for Mum's birthday. This is quite a special birthday, and it's on January the 8th. January the 8th. So that's not very far away. And yeah, all of a sudden I thought it would be a good idea to finish this and give it to Mum for her birthday. She knows how much I love this blanket, how much I've enjoyed working on it, and she did say to me the other day, oh, is that for me? But she says that about all of my projects. So I hope she would like it. And I've been knitting quite a few squares on it. I don't know which squares I showed you last time. I don't know where I was, but I'll just pick out a few really fun ones to show you. This was in my Opal Advent calendar, which has been so fun to open. My birthday is on the 25th of a month, and I was thinking about putting the box up in the loft and asking David to fill it for me next year. In the lead up to my birthday, I mean. I thought that'd be quite fun. This was, turn it around this way. This one was a gift from my friends Amanda and Becky. It's so sparkly, so pretty. That's the Knitting Goddess one. This one was from Debbie Reese Designs. This one was from Kristen, of Yarngasm podcast. And I've only got one square there that needs to be filled. And then on the other side, I'm not sure which of these I'd done last time, but I know that one was from Kim. That is gorgeous, that one. And I think I might have done most of those. And over this side, I've just got space for 3 more. So 4 more squares, and it will be square, well, rectangular, but squared off. And I think that that size will be big enough for Mum. So that's very exciting. I tried out the edging that I think I'm going to use. I put a picture on Instagram. But I'm going to do an applied I-cord edging, and I'm using a dark grey Drops Fable yarn because I've got lots of balls of that yarn, and it just gives it a really nice finished look in the grey, I think. I was thinking about tying all of my scraps together, all of the leftover bits that I had from these squares, and doing a multicoloured edging, but I think the grey finishes it off really nicely, so I'm going to go with that, I think. And the I-cord, the applied I-cord edge is really, well, I say this now, I did about that much of it, and it was really, really enjoyable. I hope I still think so when I've gone all the way around this blanket. I measured it the other day. It's quite big, and I can't remember how big it measured. Must put that on my project notes because I can't really get a good sense of scale in photos or when I show it on here. I think it's quite interesting to know how big people's blankets actually get to. But I love this project so much, and I'm so excited to give it to Mum. I hope she really, really likes it. And then as soon as this one's finished, I'm going to start another one for me, which I'm also really excited about. So yes, that's another work in progress that has a deadline. Oh, I might just leave this on my lap actually. It's nice and cosy. So, I can't remember what day it was on. Maybe Monday. I didn't think I'd got that much knitting done at the weekend, and I was really starting to think that this Christmas present thing wasn't going to happen. I wasn't going to have anything finished. So what do you think I did? I cast on 3 more Christmas gifts. Honestly, I don't know why I do it to myself. So yeah, I thought, oh, I know what Mum needs for Christmas and for her birthday. She needs a couple more pairs of socks, doesn't she? So I cast on this pair. This is from some hand spun. It's got sparkliness in it. I wonder if it'll show up. It's a Felt Studio UK braid, and it's superwash merino, and I can't remember if it said nylon separately to all of the sparkle or whether it just said nylon sparkle, but it's a very, very sparkly braid, and I've knit that much of the sock. Knitting this on my Knit Pro Zings 2.25mm and using a 64 stitch count. You can tell that I was doing this with a sort of sense of urgency because there are only 10 rows of the rib, and usually I try and get to 15. Oh, it's madness. Tell me I'm not the only one that does this. Please. So yeah, I have that one done. Well, not done obviously, but that one started, and then I have a little start on the next one. And then I thought, well, this was calculated in 2 ways. I thought that Mum would really like another pair of pennycrest socks, I knit her a pair for her birthday last year and they were white and she really, really likes them. And I don't knit plain socks very often, so I thought it might be a bit of a treat for her to have another pair of plain socks. And she keeps saying about how she'd like some pink socks. So I caked up this Cascade Heritage. I think this is the tutu, because that's lovely and very, very pink. But I did also have an ulterior motive, because on Saturday when David and I went to the football, it was in Bristol, and I've been looking forward to Bristol and Blackburn being in the same league again for I think 3 years. I think it was 3 years ago that they were last in the same league, because last time we went to an away game at Bristol we went to Get Knitted, and Get Knitted is huge. It's a really, really big shop. They've got all sort of standard yarn shop yarns. They've got a massive selection of Stylecraft. They've got a huge selection of Opal and a full selection of Knit Pro needles as well. So I got myself some more zings. These are the 2mm size and they are the prettiest pink colour. I don't know if you can see how pretty they are, but I thought they would go so perfectly with this yarn. And last year's pennycrest socks I knit on 2mm, so yeah, there were all sorts of reasons that I could tell myself that casting these on would be a good idea. They haven't grown at all since I cast them on Monday. I think it was Monday. And then I finished a pair of socks for a friend of mine, and it's her birthday very, very soon after Christmas. It's on New Year's Eve. And I thought, oh, it'd be good to knit her another pair of socks, wouldn't it? So she had one pair for Christmas and one pair for birthday. So I cast on some of the Regia, Arnie and Carlos. I think this is Winter Night, but I'm not certain. But it's from their first collection. And that's that big. But it's good to have a project like this on the go, because if I'm with Mum and David, I can knit on and socks. So, because if I'm with David, I can knit on Mum's things. If I'm with Mum, I can knit on David's. And I can knit on Anne's when I'm with them both. So, yes, that was a moment of madness. I think that's probably, I hope that is the most works in progress I've ever shown you in 1 week, because that's quite a few, isn't it? I do love having vanilla socks on the go though. They are my favourite of all projects, I think. They're just so soothing. So yeah. Even if the time frame is terrifying me, it's nice having a little basket of vanilla socks to work on. I say I have worked on my doodler. I haven't, but I have left it out for Mum to work on while she's here. So I don't know if you'll be able to tell that it's grown, but it has. Bobbins treats in my knitting bag, of course. I'm going to assume that everyone's seen this now because the pattern has been released. But this section is getting a bit longer. And I think there are still 2 more wedges to go after finishing this one, so it's really, really laborious clue I'm finding, and I'm not even knitting on it, so yeah. I do like the clues when they're a bit more instant. I think that's why the exploration station was so good, because you just had these lovely chunks of a different thing to do. None of it went on for as long as that, but I really like how the shawl looks and I'm really excited about finishing it. So when I haven't got so many deadline things, hopefully I'll get back to knitting it and won't have to just keep on leaving it out for Mum in case she feels like doing a couple of rows. So that's all my works in progress. Whew, that was a lot I wasn't actually going to mention my doodler, but so I'll just write it down so I link it in the show notes, which I'm going to do this week. Finished objects. I actually have some finished objects, finally. I can't remember the last time I finished anything, so I'm really, really pleased. My first finished object is another football hat for David. We're going to football on Boxing Day up in Blackburn. I've got some fluff on my lip, and I just thought it would be quite nice if he had a new hat to wear. It hasn't been blocked and I haven't sewn the ends in yet, but yeah, it's the colours of Blackburn football team. I used the Turner Square pattern by Jared Flood, and in that pattern he encourages you to do a tubular cast on. And I don't know if you remember, I was supposed to do a tubular cast on my carousel hat that I finished a little while ago, and I just could not get my head around it. I've done it before and it went fine, and the time that I was trying to knit it on my carousel, I just could not make it make sense. But the instructions on the Turner Square hat pattern are so good for the tubular cast on. I don't know what I was thinking last time, because it's a very simple cast on. It just takes a bit of time, because before you can even start the hat you are doing, I think, 4 or so rows of setup. But it gives a really nice edge. Just gives a really clean sort of look, and it's nice and stretchy as well, which is good for a hat brim. In the Turner Square hat pattern it also has a juggler stripes instructions, and I think this will look a bit better when it's blocked, but it's not too bad. It's okay. Yeah, so I've knit David a couple of football hats before in this colour, this blue Cascade 220 Heather, I think, and I can't remember the colour, but it will be in my Ravelry notes because I did make project pages for that. I've also made him a white one, and this is also Cascade 220, just white. And this is some leftovers of some Rowan Pure Wool Aran that I had. And I just sort of played with a stripe sequence that I thought might be nice, and it worked out really well actually. For the length of the hat, it almost looks like I planned it, which is good. So yeah, I need to sew in the ends, give it a little bit of a block, and then that will be one present ready. My next finished object is for Anne, who is a friend of mine who likes to kill socks, but I'll still knit them for her because she loves them when she has them. And this is in, I think it's called King Cole Zigzag, but I've got a project page for this if you wanted to see what the yarn is. I know the yarn's been discontinued, but this is 50% wool and 50% acrylic, so I wondered if that would be a bit stronger for her, because she doesn't just make holes in heels, she makes holes everywhere. It's bizarre. I've never seen anything like it. So yeah, I was hoping that this blend might be a bit stronger. I used the Blueberry Waffle pattern by Sandy Turner, which is a really, really lovely pattern. One of my favourite patterns, I think. Just makes such lovely squishy socks, really comfy, and they really hug your feet and your leg because they're that sort of rib. I did the heels in Artisano Definition sock. This is the denim colour, and I just did a slip stitch heel because that's my favourite too. It's just really, really nice to do. And I did a square heel turn. I haven't blocked these yet. But I just really love how the square heel looks. It's just a lovely sort of little strap under your foot, under your heel. Be nice. I saw that someone's asked how you do the square heel, and I first had a go at the square heel when I saw it in the Skedaddle pattern by Lena from A Wee Bit Nitty podcast. So if you fancy trying the square heel, I'd recommend downloading that pattern. It's a free pattern, and having a go at the square heel. That's also where I first tried the gathered toe as well. I can't remember what that's called, but you decrease at more points around the toe and you just gather in the 6 or 8 stitches, I can't remember, at the end. And that is such a lovely sock pattern, so I'd recommend knitting that sock pattern just to have a go at those two techniques if you're new to them, because it's a lovely, lovely, pretty pattern. I really love those socks. Mum stole those. But yeah, that's Skedaddle by Lena from the A Wee Bit Nitty podcast. They're my finished objects. Oh, it feels so good to finish something. And I know that, yet I cast on everything. Oh, never mind. On to lovely things. So I did a swap with Erin from Holland Handmade Company, but I received her package. In it was a lovely huge bag that I'm using for my blanket, which is really, really pretty. And she also sent me some other lovely things. There were some mini skeins, which is lots of fun. I'll probably save these until I start my blanket. There's some lovely fat quarters. Really lovely. Very, they're very much Erin's style, sort of vintage look. Lovely, lovely fabrics. Some cute little crocheted stockings. How sweet are they? And some lovely little pins with birds on the ends. I wonder if it will focus on those. It's so cute. And a sweet little notebook for ideas. She also sent a bag to give away, and this is just so cute. I absolutely love this. It's a lovely little vintage type fabric. It may actually be vintage fabric because I know that Erin does use vintage fabrics. And then there's polka dots inside. But it's so cute, the perfect size for socks. So yeah, I love that, so we'll give that away soon. Thank you very much, Erin. It's just lovely. I'll put links to Erin's shop and podcast in the show notes if you haven't watched her before. On to other lovely things. I received a lovely package from Becky, who is British Bee Knits. Becky has such fantastic ideas, and one of her recent ideas was for a hat and a bag. So you get a pattern for a hat. It's British Bee's Bad Hair Day hat, I think it's called. The pattern's over there, I should have brought it over. You get a skein of self-striping yarn and a pom-pom and some stitch markers. And she very kindly sent me one. She sent me the Dudley's Jumper colourway. It's this incredible orange and lovely fawny brown colour. And it's really, really soft. It's 100% Australian Merino. It's very soft indeed. I can't wait to start this. I'm really, really trying to stop myself from starting things that I don't have to have finished by Christmas. And then look at this. The brightest pom-pom ever to go on top. And there were some lovely stitch markers attached, but they are all on my shawl, which I've lost. Oh, there it is. On Mum's Islington shawl. I had to grab all of my stitch markers And Becky makes the cutest stitch markers. They're lovely, just sweet little snag-free stitch markers. I'll show you them when I'm using them on a project that's not got a million stitch markers on. So yeah, so lovely. Thank you, Becky. And she also sent us some yarns to give away on the podcast. There's her Do You Feel Lucky Punk. This is a self-striping. It's got bright purple, yellow, red and black. Really fun. And then this one is Oxford's Not Brogues. It's gorgeous. I'd like to knit this one. It's pink, navy and black. Really nice. So we'll give those away soon too. Really fun. Thank you so much, Becky. So they were things in the post, and I also picked up a ball of this Regia. On Friday, David and I went to a fabric shop in Wallingford. It's called Village Fabrics and it's a fantastic shop, just full of fabrics. I wanted to stock up on some nice fabrics for the shop, making some nice things for the shop, and I found some lovely, lovely fabrics. I should have brought them over to show you, but never mind. But we had a little look round Wallingford while we were there and found this shop. I think it was called Made by Raspberry Tart and Friends, and it's a lovely Aladdin's Cave type shop. It's got all sorts of handmade lovely things in there, and then at the back they've got yarn. So I couldn't go into this sort of small business and not support their spreading of the yarny goodness. So I picked up this ball. I just love the colours. It's a bit vintagey, I think. It's got the taupe, really lovely dusky pink, 2 different shades of brown, and there's a teal and a sort of raspberry pink as well. I love that. Really lovely colours. And then my last lovely thing, I've just remembered I haven't opened my advent calendar today. I don't know if you saw a few episodes back, but I got the Opal advent calendar that's full of 24, I think, little balls of opal yarn. These are bigger than the standard ones that you buy in the shops, I think. These are 15 grams, and I think the ones that you get in shops are 8 or 10 grams. But I'm not certain. But I have been opening my advent calendar and then slowly filling this bowl that we have downstairs, because I thought it would be really fun to see this bowl get filled up. I've knit a couple of them into my blanket. I've knit this one into the blanket. Well, I can't say my blanket anymore, can I? It's Mum's. I've knit that one in, and they still look just as big, so I think I could get 3 squares out of this, which is good. But yeah, really enjoying opening that. It's so fun. Yeah, I've been really enjoying seeing on other people's podcasts their advent calendars. I was watching Christina on A Knitter's Life, and her and Brownie Knits did a, well, you can go and have a look at it over there, but I thought that it was such a fantastic idea and so much fun. So yeah, that was very inspiring what they were doing. That's all my lovely things. Now, I drew for both of our giveaways. I suddenly had a thought last night, oh gosh, if I don't draw for this Christmas Eve giveaway and get it out to the person, it's not going to be there anytime near Christmas. So I closed the thread and drew for that, and I got in touch with the winner, and I've got her address, so I'm going to send the prize to her. It's all packaged up and ready, so with her address on. I just need to get to the post office now. And that is going to Veronica in Germany. So congratulations, Veronica. So excited to send that off to you, and I hope you really, really like it. I also drew for the Euclid set. That was donated to us by Knotty Gnome Crafts, Sarah. And the winner of that was number 61, and that was Yarn JR. I looked on your profile and you haven't got your name on there, but you live in America. So get in touch with me and we will organise getting that pattern over to you. But congratulations to you too, and conveniently in your, I did them both with random number generator, but conveniently in your bit where you said about what you'd like to learn, tapestry crochet is one of the things you'd like to learn. So I hope you really enjoy learning it with that pattern. And thank you for donating that to us, Sarah. And thank you to Shadow from Felt Fusion for donating the beautiful dyed yarn to us. I can't wait to cast that on. I'm so excited. I need to free up some needles now though, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to cast on any new socks. Uh-oh. I'm getting so excited reading through the Christmas Eve cast on thread at the yarn that you're going to be using, the project bags and the patterns that you're going to use for the Christmas Eve cast on. The hashtag is LBK Christmas Eve socks 2015. If I've got that wrong, I'll put the right thing on the screen. I can't remember what I said. And do share with that hashtag on Instagram, because it'd be lovely to keep up with what you're doing and share a little bit of your Christmas and your Christmas Eve cast on. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Bobbin, you're being very antisocial today. Haven't seen much of Bobbin today. I'm not entirely sure what he's sulking about, but never mind. I think that's everything from me. I hope you are having a really lovely December, and I hope to speak to you again in December. We'll have to get another podcast before we start the Christmas Eve cast on, won't we? So yeah, I will see you very soon. Bye.